Why people get trapped in the utility role, poaching rules. Welcome to Australian Mining for New Starters, and in today's video I just want to talk about the poaching rules that are on most sites around the country that people don't really realise that are there. So on all the hard rock mines, so all these mines around the country, all the catering companies have got a rule in place, and this rule was first brought in about 1998, was the first time I came across it, and it was up in Telfer here. And what it basically says is that if you want to transfer from one company to another on site, you have to go off site for 6 months before you can make the transfer. And that's to stop people poaching other people's workers. Because what used to happen back in the day, especially with Hard Rock Underground, is that if the nipper quit or someone quit above and you promoted a truck driver or a nipper and you needed somebody new, and the person washing the dishes was alright, or the person making the bed was any good at what they were doing, the foreman just used to go and snavel them up and offer them a job straight away. And what that did is it left the catering company in a pickle because they were always going through people. And like I said, about 25 years ago now, they started introducing these new rules into contracts that basically says that if you get to site and you want to change from a Urist or a Compass over to a burn cutter or a Barminco, then you have to go off site for 6 months. And in effect, that traps people in utility work. And that's why the utility wages haven't gone up in the last 20 years. Basically, they're paying them roughly the same that they were years and years ago, is because all these people get trapped in these jobs. They think that they can go from a utility job to a production mining job, but when you have to go off site for 6 months, that means that, it's not really an option for the employer, because if they want somebody, they normally want somebody straight away. And so what it really means is that you're trying to make friends with the foreman or the project manager that's going to get you a job, but they can't get you a job on their site. They have to get you a job on another site, and that makes it a bridge too far for most people. Now, this rumour keeps going around because in the coal mining sector of things, and I believe they call them a PEGI, that they do start people off in cleaning in around the mine site, and that's one of the ways that you start off at the bottom. That's only for coal and only for Queensland, I believe. It might be in New South Wales. If I can get some feedback on that, that would be great, but it's definitely not in the hard rock mines, and that's where all the jobs are at the moment, especially if you want to become a production miner with a long-term career. Just be aware, I've come across a lot of people that are looking to try and get in, and they've been told this information that if they just get a utility job, then they'll be able to jump over to a production mining job fairly quickly. It's bad information, it's wrong. Unfortunately, the pages and the social media pages are full of bad advice. I only have to come over to the ad that we do for Australian Mining for New Starters. If you want to talk to me, all you have to do is click on sign up, and they send me your details, and I shoot you a text and I'll give you a call. But if you just have a look at some of the comments that come up, it's really, it's just poor advice. It's like people saying that you need 12 months experience, before you can get a job. How do you get experience? Well, this guy's trying to get on as an excavator operator on the surface, and getting on as excavator on the surface in production, that's not an entry-level job. That's something that you've got to been in for a whole heap of years. And then you come down to this sort of advice. You also need your standard 11 and a recent medical unless you have experience. That's wrong. Standard 11's only for coal in Queensland, and all the companies around the country now should be paying for the medicals themselves. You used to have to pay for it yourself in Queensland. They changed the law a few years ago to say that you don't. But again, and it goes on about tickets, and it's only coal mining in Queensland that use the ticket system. None of the hard rock mines around the country use the ticket system. They all have to use on-site ticketing and on-site procedures. So when you move from one site to another, you have to redo everything when you move to the new site. Yes, they will recognise prior learning, but you still have to go through all the paperwork so they can prove in a court of law that they've done everything they can to train you and keep you safe. It's just the system that's there in place, and so if you're trying to go and spend a bucket load of money on tickets, it's not going to get you anywhere. They can't transfer them in, and it just, if you're going for a hard rock underground job, it just makes you look like you haven't done your research properly. So instead of doing that, have a look at the Intro to Underground Mining course, the DIY. It's got everything that the employer wants in it. Teaching you how to drive the underground truck's the easy bit. Teaching you enough so you can be left alone in the truck to drive the truck by yourself, that's the hard thing. And if you've done all this training, that will allow you to be left alone very quickly once you get up to speed on the truck, because you'll have all the other context that you need to know what's going on around the mine, so you can be left alone in the truck to do what you got to do in the truck. And that's the way in. So once you do the training, we've got our mining jobs to apply for page, so we load up all the jobs from around the country that we think you should be applying for. Lots of jobs around. A couple of guys have just gotten jobs off this lot that are here. They applied for them a couple of weeks ago, which is really good. So well done to those guys in Melbourne and Adelaide that look like they're heading to Kalgoorlie for work. Yeah, well done. But yeah, you just have to keep at it and keep applying and applying and applying, and there's lots of jobs out there. You can have a look at this video that I've done on rules for taking advice about a mining career. I've already covered that, but yeah, people giving you advice, you need to get the context from where they are in the industry, so whether you know the advice is any good or not. It's no use spending thousands on tickets for shutdown work if you know you don't want to be a shutdown worker, because again, a lot of people get told shutdown work's a good way to lead into a production mining job. It's not. It's only a handful of people that actually make the jump across. 95% of the people that get in as a shutdown worker or a utility worker, they get pigeonholed in that job and they end up staying there, unfortunately. So if you want a production mining job, the best thing to do is go and educate yourself to how it all works. And you can, like I said, you can use the training to do that, and then go straight after the proper jobs yourself. So everybody's looking. There's jobs all over the country. As you can see, you can scroll through. There's heaps of jobs everywhere. It's just a matter of giving them what they want, somebody that knows how their mine works, so you can hit the ground running. So I hope you found that information helpful, and remember those poaching rules are there, and that's there to stop the catering company turning over a lot of staff, but it also is used by the catering company to trap their staff, because once you get onto site and you work out you can't go anywhere, unfortunately a lot of people get stuck, and the social media pages are full of people that are in utility jobs or driving buses or whatever they're doing on site that are stuck and they can't move, and that's why, is because the poaching rules, unfortunately. So if you've got any more questions or you want to know anything more about the mining industry, just shoot your questions through to the channel and I will answer them. And if you could share this information around and like and subscribe to the channel. Thanks.